Okay, thank you all for signing in today. We did this WebEx last week, and so hopefully we'll be able to share some good information again today. We're going to talk about the different Medicare wellness exams. The three Medicare wellness exams that we think about are the traditional Medicare, HealthSpring, or Blue Cross Blue Shield. So when you see any Medicare patient, we will need some sort of wellness exam on each of them, and so we'll talk about the differences in these and any changes from last year. Next slide. So when you have a traditional Medicare patient who's not HealthSpring or Blue Cross Blue Shield, the traditional Medicare wellness is an annual exam. This says you must wait a full calendar year from the previous exam, but it's 11 months. So if you're seeing someone and it's been 11 months since their prior, you technically can do one, but you're certainly safe to wait a calendar year. This does not include a physical exam. It's basically the HPI form, either the Welcome to Medicare, Initial Annual Wellness, or Subsequent Annual Wellness. So the Welcome to Medicare is done within the first year the patient has Medicare. If the patient does not have a Welcome to Medicare during that first year of Medicare, but they've never had a wellness exam, so for instance, if they're 70 years old, they've been on Medicare for 5 years but never had a wellness exam, then they would have the initial annual wellness. And then for any other, if they've ever had either the welcome or the initial, following that, they have the subsequent annual wellness visit. If you've done these, you realize that each of these have the same questions, but it depends on the coding, as to how it's coded and billed. That's the most important thing. So the HPI form that you choose is the same code that you use. With the traditional Medicare, you assess a diagnosis code of the health maintenance along with any other diagnosis that you talk about during that office visit. With these, you can code a traditional office visit E&M code with a modifier 25, and then you bill your Medicare wellness code, either the GO402, GO438, or GO439. Now, in the past, these codes have been on the appointment list from reception, looking those up, but in just a minute we'll talk about a new workflow that has to do with our DASH. These Medicare wellness exams do not have to be printed, so once they're completed and coded, that's all you have to do on those. Next slide. So if you have a HealthSpring Medicare patient, this, like last year, it's an annual exam, and you do not have to wait a full calendar year. So if you see a HealthSpring patient today, you can actually go ahead and do their 360 exam if you choose. This does include a physical exam. The reason for the visit in chief complaint must state HealthSpring 360 exam, and you complete the HealthSpring 360 HPI form for 2017. You will assess a diagnosis of the health maintenance and any other diagnosis that that patient has. And with HealthSpring, it's very important, along with really all of our patients, to code these to the highest specificity of their disease processes. So being very specific, looking for those HCC codes, that's very important as you are giving HealthSpring a complete picture of the patient's severity of illness. You can complete the HealthSpring discussion form in the summary. With these, you will bill a preventative code. Now, this is something new with HealthSpring this year. If you are doing a HealthSpring 360 exam, starting this year, you can bill an office visit E&M code with a modifier 25 and your wellness code for the HealthSpring 360. So in the past, we've said do not do an E&M code the same day, but starting this year you can. These will need to be printed and placed in the designated area that you set up with your nurse for HealthSpring to pick these up. We do not have the HMRs yet. Hopefully we'll be getting them soon because it is mid-January. I'm hoping that we're going to be getting those hopefully by the end of this week, and we can hopefully HealthSpring can get those out to you, and you can complete your HMR at the same time as your 360. Next slide. Now, if you have your Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage, again, this is an annual exam like the HealthSpring. You do not have to wait a full calendar year from the previous exam. So if you see a Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage, you can do these anytime. This does include a physical exam. The reason for your visit must state wellness exam, and you complete the form, the Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Wellness. You assess your health maintenance code, and again, any and all diagnoses that the patient has to reflect the highest specificity of those disease processes. Again, you're giving Blue Cross Blue Shield a full picture of your patient and how sick they truly are. So you want to be sure to assess any diagnosis into the highest specificity. You can complete the discussion summary for HealthSpring, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then you bill a preventative exam code. With these, you can, again, bill a traditional office visit code, E&M code, with the modifier 25, and then you're going to code your wellness exam, the wellness code, with the Blue Cross Blue Shield code, and I will show you that here on another slide. In the past, we have printed these and sent these to the Blue Cross Blue Shield care coordinators. Now you can task these notes to the Blue Cross Blue Shield care coordinator. Actually, it's to the care coordinator team. An email went out this week instructing the nurses and doctors on how to do this. It's very easy to task that note to the care coordinator team, and you don't have to print it. Next slide. So this is a chart that was sent out in an email, and it's good to print this and have this at your desk just kind of as a guideline to go by. It basically shows you the traditional. It has to be a calendar year or at least 11 months. With the traditional, you will have your G code, your health maintenance exam. You can bill an E&M code with a modifier 25 with your G code for that wellness exam. You do not have to print these. For HealthSpring, you do not have to wait 12 months. You complete the HealthSpring wellness form, list all your diagnosis along with your health maintenance diagnosis. You have your billing code, which is your wellness code. You can, again, bill an E&M code, modifier 25, with your wellness, and these are printed and placed in your designated location for HealthSpring to pick those up. Blue Cross Blue Shield, annually, you do not have to wait 12 months. It just has to be within the calendar year. You complete your Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Wellness HPI form. Again, your health maintenance diagnosis code with your other diagnosis codes to the highest specificity. You can bill an E&M code with modifier 25, but you must have your wellness code, the 99387 or 99397. And then with Blue Cross Blue Shield, you have to add this extra code, the 96160. This is a different code from last year, but it's located in the same place in all scripts. So choose that code to denote the Blue Cross Blue Shield wellness. And now these can be tasked to the care coordinator team rather than printed. Next slide. This is a measure that you've probably seen on the dashboard that we turned on the end of the year, I believe, in 16. And this is a way that whoever is opening your note, so whether that's your check-in nurse or your nurse, when they open the note and they look at this dashboard, they can tell if that patient needs a Medicare wellness. So at the very top it says Medicare wellness visit never performed. So this tells me that this patient needs a Medicare wellness. So that can be done today, or I can schedule that. The second area there, Medicare wellness visit too old. So it shows you that this patient had a Medicare wellness visit in September 2015. And if I expand that, I can see that a G0438 was coded in September 2015. So I would know that after September 2015, this patient is due a G0439. At the bottom, the Medicare wellness visit up to date. It shows here that this was done in August of 2016. And if it's expanded, it shows that a G0438 was done on August 26, 2016. So next August, when this patient comes in, that patient it will be due for a G0439. So this in the dashboard shows what the patient is due for, what they had before, what code was used when it's due. So you can look at this, your nurse can look at this, but this is a way that reception doesn't have to look these up. It's right there on the dashboard. Next slide. Oh, one thing I wanted to make note about on that last slide that I forgot, this only accounts for the traditional Medicare wellness visits. So on your Blue Cross Blue Shield or HealthSpring, you don't need to look at this because remember, those do not have to wait a full calendar year. So that will never show that the Medicare wellness visit was performed because you don't code a G code on Blue Cross Blue Shield or HealthSpring. So this dashboard measure is only for your traditional Medicare patients. Are there any questions on anything we talked about today or any of the slides? If you have any questions, please feel free to call me, send me an email. If something comes up and you're not sure about a code or what to look at, then please let me know and I'll be happy to answer it or get the answer for you. Okay, any questions? Well, thank you all for listening today. There's not a lot of changes as compared to last year. I think the biggest change is in the HealthSpring that we can now code an E&M code and a HealthSpring 360, and then a little workflow change with having the dashboard measure showing us which G code, and then tasking those Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage patients' notes over to the care coordinator team rather than having to print them. So if you do have any questions, just contact me anytime. I think that'll end our session then if no one has any questions. Thank you.